Hi, I'm Zbigniew Rybczyński. I'm very honored by the fact that the first DVD of my films and videos is published in Italy. I'm so strongly influenced and inspired by artistic activities which have been taken place for at least 3,000 years in this beautiful land, that I feel like an art student who is opening a very thin portfolio with a few little sketches in the front of his greatest teachers and famous masters. I began my career as a painter. Then at the end of the 60s I decided that painting was dead. I wanted movement, not stillness. So I turned to film. But just at the beginning I had a problem. On film in general we record the real, what is in the front of the camera. But I was interested in recording things which don't exist in reality, though we are sure they are quite real. I wanted to record images which exist in our minds, in our dreams, in our subconsciousness, in our fantasy. That is the kind of real I care about. For more than 30 years I have been searching for a new method of filming which would allow me to create images on the screen in a totally convincing way. Equally for me is the process of how to make and produce films. Today, around the world, films are produced in a very similar, repetitive way, which is rather closer to the execution of a military operation which is planned in all details well ahead, than to anything what I still hope should be regarded like an artistic activity. I imagine that the process of creating films could be very similar to playing jazz music. A real whole crew effort, a real spontaneous artistic improvisation with concepts, human body, aesthetics and technology. And I made in this field many experiments. Almost all of my videos are done live, without any post-production, and with very active participation of the whole crew. Stories and images were invented during shooting from scratch. On these two DVDs I'm presenting a selection of my works which I made in the 70s in Poland, which is my native country, and in the 80s after I immigrated to the United States. My works are shown in almost chronological order. You can see my struggle in realizing my goals, and you can see constant experimentation with different technologies. It starts with my Polish 35mm films like Square, Soup, Tango and New Book, where I use a variety of mostly mechanical techniques. I have drawn by hand thousands of mats on celluloid, stop-motion photography of live action, and I work long days and nights with an optical printer. Later you can see Steps, my first bigger American video production where I use a TV broadcast equipment. I mix in real time archive film footage with live video. I inserted a group of contemporary tourists inside a famous Eisenstein Odessa step sequence. For the first time I tried to make the whole production live. Even sound effects were created and recorded live in sync with performing actors. Maybe it was a little too ambitious for the existing at this time technology and for the budget and time available, but I think maybe I made in Steps the first attempt in the direction of virtual reality which soon became very new and important part of media art. And finally, maybe the most known of all of my productions, the orchestra. It was a pioneering work exploring technical excellence of the first analog high-definition video system. Since its introduction in the middle of the 80s, I was, and I am today, maybe the biggest admirer and believer in HD TV as a real modern electronic tool which will revolutionize filmmaking. Using a fantastic magic box invented by Petro Vlachos, Ultimate, I was able in the orchestra to use in real time a high-quality blue screen compositing. Combining this technique with the camera movement controlled by motion control, I started to create images which gave me a feeling that I'm much closer to what I imagined at the beginning of my filmmaking. At this time, computers have become pretty powerful, and I was amazed observing development of the, in my opinion, the biggest invention in the history of visualization, CGI, computer graphics images. To understand how I can include CGI in the process of my filmmaking, I had to stop for a while and study computers. I learned computer programming to be able to write my own software. But all of this happened in the 90s, and that is where my DVD's presentation stops. At the end, I would like to share with you my following thought. Only experiments can lead us to discoveries. Without them, there will be no progress in general. In filmmaking, especially if we understand that science and art don't have to be apart, but like in the Italian Renaissance, can develop in beautiful symbiosis. Experimentation can lead us to uncover the unseen yet, but surely existing blank spots of our reality. And I'm very lucky, because through my work, sometimes I was there for very short moments. But I witnessed something there very unexpected and very, very fascinating. I wish to all of you to have similar experiences in your life through your work. If you would like to know more about my works and about myself, please visit my website, zbigvision.com. In the meantime, enjoy the show.